Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, which again? Okay, can somebody chant the shloka and read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Bhagavad Gita 14.14. यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं यान्ति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, yada sattve pravritte tu yada. Sorry, that's my screen. यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं यदि देहभृत् तदोत्तमं विधां लोकम् अमलं प्रतिपद्यते. Now, we all have been attending so many classes and reading so much about birth, death, old age, disease. So we are hearing over and over again. So many times we have heard. But is it just hearing or is it a realized knowledge we have? So that we have to understand. So in this shloka, basically, Krishna is talking about the person who dies in the mode of goodness, where he goes. So from this shloka, 14th to 18th shloka, so he's going to mention the effect of conditioned by the different modes, the three modes. So in this chapter, mostly you will see the different modes being discussed and what are the effects and byproducts, and post what happens. So those are the things which has been mentioned. And also towards the end, he mentions in this chapter how one can transcend, go beyond these three modes. Okay, so basically going into the detail, so what Krishna is saying is this particular word sattva, he has stressed stronger here because you see he is mentioning the word pralayam. Pralayam means destruction, and he is talking about pralayam yati dehabhrit. So the destruction of the body, that means death. And the Dehabhrit means embodied soul. We are all embodied souls. So what happens? So he's telling about Tada Uttama. So he's mentioning Tada Uttama Vidham Lokan. So that means, so he's mentioning that he's going to attain Uttama. So Uttama means the one who has rising up or risen up from the Tamaha. Tama means ignorance. So that is the meaning of Uttama. So another name for the Lord is Uttama Shloka, because the utmost, the most purest form of prayers are, mentioned or composed to the Lord. So that is the meaning. So here this word is mentioned, Tadottama Vidhan Lokam. So what is this Vidha? Vidha means the one who is higher than the world where Arjuna was in. So obviously Krishna and Arjuna, they were in Kurukshetra. So he's mentioning about the higher realm. So there's another realm, and after this you die in the mode of goodness. You're going there. So that is been mentioned. So Svarga, we have all heard about this. So the heavenly planets, mode of goodness. One dies, definitely goes. Sometimes we see people speaking that no, he was a very good person, lifelong. He led a very good life. He never cheated anybody. He always was a well-wisher to everyone. His thoughts, his speech, his work was good. So definitely he will go to the heavenly planets. We see certain people in our society when we come across. So that is one example you can take. And there are different ways we can see people how they glide into from goodness to even the different modes also. Sometimes we meet people, oh, they were so good, but what happened to them? They became so bad now. Why they are treating us like that? So it's all because of the interaction of the different modes the body is behaving. So that we have to understand. So here it is mentioned about the vidhan, the higher loka. So how one gets into the mode of goodness, and at the end he enjoys that particular class. So that means somebody has to prepare themselves. Somebody is ending and they have to go to that particular state, means they have to prepare themselves. So just like in an exam, we have to prepare ourselves so we can clear the exams and go to the next level. Or you're going to remain there itself. Or you're just going to leave the education. Many of us, we would have thought, I want to become a doctor, I wanted to become a lawyer, I wanted to do MBA, I wanted to do CA, but somehow I took up and somehow for some circumstances or so many things, I couldn't do it. So we have gone through that. So similarly, this body which is there, which is temporary, it is going to give me suffering. Um, so many of us, maybe I can talk to myself, but many of us, as Srila Prabhupada mentions, that the biggest problem with us is the ego, the false ego which is there, and it is not accepting that I'm not this body. So that is the biggest problem we are facing nowadays. So it's the effect of the the material life which we are going through. So that's why if you see in Bhagavad Gita, um, Krishna stressed more on these points only to Arjuna, because Arjuna was right in front of all the the ultimate the rulers of the world, and he's also dealing with his relatives. So he's talking at the bodily concept of life. Arjuna is made to talk like that. So Krishna is bringing in the point that that's why we see in the second chapter he begins with the Najayate mriti va kadachin. So he's talking about for the soul there is no birth or death. So you don't have to worry about that. So it's only the destruction of the body. So we have seen that also. But if I have to give this knowledge to somebody who's radicalized, he can even kill his mother also. That's how the Islam is the radical Islamist, the jihadist who are terrorists. They have been radicalized and they're using the same philosophy. You kill your mother or you kill anybody, so you're ending only the body. So it's for the higher purpose, for the sake of Allah. That's how they are going. But that's not the point which has been discussed. But Krishna is talking about how a person should understand life is. Every thing we see around has life, and how it is going to affect in our life, and how I should be prepared myself towards the end. So that is what Krishna was trying to explain to Arjuna. So he mentions all these things. We have gone through many shlokas about this. So he definitely mentions about this particular shloka where he says that one has to die if somebody has taken birth. So that means that there's a death when somebody is born. So that he said. So this is unavoidable discharge of your duty. So he's reminding Arjuna of doing your duty. So now, being in the battlefield, this is a precarious situation where everybody is meeting with death. No, nobody knows who is going to live or die on the battlefield. So, in what way they are going to end the body? That is very, very important. So, similarly for us also, here in dying in the mode of goodness is not the ultimate goal. Now, for a devotee, anybody's life, you can say, the materialistic or a devotee life, we are writing a chapter or a history for ourselves, and it has been recorded. And when we go in front of the Lord of Death, Yamaraja, so he's going to judge. So we are all going to wait for that judgment day. Okay. So we are writing ourselves. We are writing a history for ourselves. So how what we have been doing and how I'm going to live as an example to the society for myself, how I'm going to conduct myself, that is very important. So for that, the preamble is very much necessary. So preamble is nothing but you would have seen every book has a preface or the summary which has been given, the purpose or the goal of writing such book, the description which is given. So similarly, for Krishna consciousness person, the preamble is to understand that first of all, I'm not this body, and how I'm going to work on that. So that is very, very much required. So that is why Bhagavad Gita is a kind of a preamble for our life. So you understand this philosophy, you understand, you implement this, then you're going to, go further. Okay, so that is the whole purpose of running these association classes every morning, everywhere, thousands, lakhs of people every day, either in the morning or evening. Why they are attending, though it has been repeated again and again, because I am not in a state that okay, once I read, I understood that I am not this body, I'm going to act like that. Again and again, I'm falling into the trap of different modes, and most probably, I am either in the mode of passion or ignorance. That is the reality I'm going to live. Okay. But how to come out of it? That is how I have to work out in a learning this philosophy. Okay. That is very much required. So, because our whole life is circled around the fear of death, it is working subtly, unconsciously. That means I'm not conscious of that, but I'm working around that only. You see, I want to, because first of all, I'm not certain about my future. I'm not, I cannot assure anybody that I'll do this, I'll become that. I don't know what my future is. And I am living in the biggest illusion at the present moment. And whatever the past experience we have gained, uh, from that, I'm realizing something. So from that, I'm doing something now. And I don't know what is going to happen. So that is how everybody is living. That is the reality. Now we have carried from so many lives, so much of experience in different bodies. That's why if you see in Bhagavatam, Pracheta's father, Prachina Barhe, he meets Narada Muni. He's a very great devotee. He is self-realized soul. Prachina Barhe knows everything, but still he goes to Narada Muni to understand the real purpose of life. So that's why you'll see the story of Puranjana. So whenever you get time, read that story. So he mentions about this entering into different cities. Now the different cities are mentioned. It is an allegorical example Narada Muni is giving. So he mentioned about different cities, and he mentions about the city of human. So human body also. So now we also have entered this particular city. Now we don't know how this city is working. Now we have so much of things in our body, how exactly it works, how food is digested, or nails are growing, hairs are growing, when I get sleep, how it is functioning, kidney or livers, all the different organs, limbs, everything. So it's so the modern science mostly works on how the different bodies work. That's how the research works. But if you see the Vedic purpose of life, um, so yeah, it's mentioned about how it already mentions about what this body is and the different bodies. It gives the description of, it gives the introduction of all these things. And basically, it comes to the point that all this is nothing but temporary and it is suffering. But what is the real purpose? That is going to be explained. So that is how we see. So Krishna is also in Bhagavad Gita trying to get out of all these things to Arjuna, that you don't have to fall into that trap, into all these three modes. You have to come out of that. That is what is mentioned. Even in the mode of goodness, we get trapped because the conditioning of being good. So somebody goes to Swargaloka, he thinks that, oh, I'm going to be there for a very long time. Of course, you're going to live for a very long time, but you're going to come back again. because once you exhaust your punyas, you're going to come back here. The middle planetary system, especially the earthly planets which are there, not only this particular planet. This is just one of it. Earthly planets are nothing but you're going to reactivate your karma. That means whatever you're going to work here, again you're going to get some credits, and you're going to exhaust it. Just like some some games you play online. There are games, you play, you get some points, you're going to enjoy it. Again, you have to recharge it. Yeah, for easy example is our phone recharge. Yeah, we have to keep recharging so that we can enjoy the facilities, the different functions which has been given. Yeah, if you don't have currency, you don't have recharge, then it's nothing but dull. So that's how it is going to work. So person dying in the mode of goodness, he's going to the higher planetary systems. Definitely, there are chances if you meet some great devotee, some association, but that we cannot ensure assure that we are going to go back to Godhead. That is the disadvantage, because there's so much of enjoyment in heavenly planets that you'll forget everything. There's so much, the enjoyment what we see is nothing here, because we see some people are very rich, very much famous. Their life is full of enjoyment, but that is nothing in front of the heavenly pleasures which somebody gets. So this karma bhumi, of course, we Kapila Muni mentions about to Devahuti that there are people suffering here also. You'll see hellish and heavenly things here also. But end of the day, somebody is exhausting their karmas, somebody is beginning their karma, and somebody is preparing to go to the next body also. So, as a human body, this is the topmost body one can attain. This is topmost birth one can attain. Even the devatas will hanker to come to the human body, human birth, to execute the devotional service. It is very conducive, it is very easy. But unfortunately, because of the time, because we are living in Kali Yuga, the time circumstances, it doesn't allow us. And definitely, the modes are so strong that it can captivate anybody. So it is very important that somebody or somehow, uh, everybody is misfortune, definitely. But somehow, fortunately, Agnata Sukriti, we don't know what Punya Karya we have done, or some life we would have done something to some devotee, pure devotee, maybe we would have just seen, it is said that if you see Narada, you'll become a pure devotee. It is mentioned in the Shastra. So similarly, we would have met some pure devotee or something, we would have done small service also, that we gone into the process of devotional life. Now, keeping it alive and continuation of this process is very important. Else, we fall back into the trap of these three modes and you'll continue. No harm. You're going to enjoy. You have these pleasures of material life. Somebody may ask, oh, what is this you're saying? I have all the enjoyment. Yes, you're going to enjoy. But at the same time, you're going to get the sufferings as well. You may enjoy now, but later point, maybe in the near future or maybe next life, you're going to suffer. So that is for sure, because this is a place of duality. You will see both enjoyment, happiness, and distress as well. That we have seen in Bhagavad Gita. So much Krishna has mentioned about these things. And Krishna definitely wants that, we have heard this sloka many times. Mamopetya punarjanma dukhalayam shashvatam. So he mentions about the person who comes to me, he doesn't take birth because he is away from this place of which is completely dukkha, and it is completely, from temporary life. It is going to be a permanent life. So some assurity is there. And he also mentions about, because now we are bound by the time, now it's a sunrise time we are attending the class. So he mentions about this also, the natad bhasyate suryo na shashanko na pavaka. We are bound by this, sunrise, sunset. That is how our days are calculated. So now something which place which we cannot even imagine. He's saying that you go to that place, yat gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. So he's saying that you go there once, that is a permanent place. So all we have to understand is we have come into a temporary place, and I'm trying to seek and adjust, live comfortably here with whatever available resources. And I'm going into that direction only always. So I'm trying to get into different paths to adjust and stay here. So that is how subtly we are working. We are earning money so that we can have food, because we don't know, uncertain, oh, tomorrow the prices may rise, or we don't know, there will be shortage of stock, so let us stock our home, so let us buy food, everything. For that I need money, so I want my children not to suffer. See, there's a mind working that, oh, there is going to be suffering coming, so I have to work in such a way that I have to be comfortable. This is the basic instinct which is working for everybody. You take any animal or any humans, anything you see, the instinct, the basic instinct is there, that there will be a suffering. So that means I know that there will be suffering. So to save from that suffering, I have to do something. That is called bhaya. Prabhupada simply mentioned this as bhaya, fear. What is that fear? Fear of death. Everybody is working about fear of death. For that, I am doing so many things. That is how the entire business is going on in the human civilization. So that is how even animals also work, and we are also working. So there is no difference. The animals also are safeguarding for themselves. They run after food. They run after where to take shelter, because there are predators. Even the predator also is not safe. They are also fearing. Don't think that a lion is there, it will sit and just the deer will come to its mouth because it roars. It doesn't work that way. The lion also is fearing that if I don't eat food, I'm going to die. I'm going to suffer from hunger. Something will happen to me. And I have to take care of my tiny cubs. So every living entity, though called as the king of a jungle or king of the city, any species, by default, the basic thing they know is I'm going to suffer. Now, to avoid that suffering, I have to make myself comfortable. So that is being mentioned. So dying in the mode of goodness, somebody goes there. Of course, there's a lot of enjoyment available. Now, one may ask, is there no suffering? Yes, of course, there is suffering, but not like what we see here. Because I do not prepare breakfast now, by 9 o'clock, I'm going to suffer. That is the problem. So after this class, I have to prepare breakfast and eat it. But how is it that working in other planets? That is different functioning. There maybe the suffering is less. You'll have all the resources, ready-made resources. But it is mentioned that definitely you're going to end body there also. Maybe after many, many thousands of years, lakhs of years, after that also. Because again, end of the day, it is not permanent. Even somebody goes to the topmost planet mentioned in the Vedas. Brahma himself mentions that he himself is not permanent. Even somebody goes to Lord Brahma's planet, Satyaloka, he's not going to stay there for a longer time. How long can he stay? Brahma is going to live for 100 years, and he as Krishna mentions, and the calculation from the Vedas and also in the Bhagavad Gita, he is going to live for 311 trillion years. For us, this is wow. Somebody lives 120, 130, we are very proud. My grandmother lived for such a long time. Now, taking this calculation, 311 trillion years, that's like, oh wow, I'm going to live for such a long time. But still, even after that, you'll feel that, okay, that's all. After that, I'm going to die. So what after that? So what kind of body I'm going to get? Am I going to become a Brahma again? So that means I'm going to forget everything. So even Brahma also, that soul sitting there, Brahma also is going to give up his body and going to forget everything, and they'll go directly to Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha, or they're going to come back to the material world and take birth again. So that is the problem with everybody. So we are very hell bent on accepting that this world is temporary. and I'm not this body. This is the biggest illusion we are living in. So, of course, these shlokas, when we read again and again, along with that, the different shlokas which are correlating, it is very important to understand that once we come out of this consciousness, that's why if you see Srila Prabhupada, during his ending days, um, he mentions at one place, I think Bombay or Vrindavan. He says that I want to show that this body is not important. So, Prabhupada, if you see the entire life, he his towards the end days, he showed that this body is temporary and how a devotee should leave the body also. Okay, so in that example, many other devotees also, there are many examples, many great devotees after Prabhupada also we have seen recently who perfectly led their life into completely in this process and left the body. So, because in ISKCON, if we come, the first thing we hear is about this only. Oh, what is this? Only birth, death, you're talking about this only. Any classes we go, they only talk about I am not this body, death, that is. But this is the reality. We don't like to eat the neem chutney. Nobody likes. Here in Bengal, they make aloo and neem. They even put it in some shak also, some spinach or something. So they make recipes. So first thing they take it, very very bitter. So that is how it is a medicine for us, but it is actually good for the body. When the doctor is giving the medicine, we don't like it. We have seen with our children, they don't like the tonic, they don't like the medicine, is very bitter. But the mother knows that only if I give the medicine to the child, it will be cured from the disease which has. So similarly, this medicine has been given, telling that no, 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 death, temporary world, you're not this body, you have to come out of this. Oh, this is medicine, I cannot take it. Oh, what is this? I have malls, I have cars. I have so many things to enjoy, and you're giving me this medicine. No, 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 I cannot take. But I don't understand with these malls and cars, I'm going to suffer further and further, life after life. So that nobody understands. Who knows? Today I'm driving a car, but next life I may come under a car as a cockroach. Who knows? Nobody knows. So I don't know about my future. So that is why this medicine is very, very important. Daily hearing, reading of this transcendental message. So that's why we have to commit ourselves. So it's a commitment in the Krishna consciousness process that we give our time. First of all, we should not chant out of as a duty or ritual, but out of love. So that will develop only we are backed with good philosophy and good association. So that is very much important. So when we chant, so many things run in our mind. So our thoughts should be clear. So that is when we are going to transcend everything. So transcending mode of goodness also is very, very much required. But initially, those who are beginners, they have to at least come to the mode of goodness. That is very important. Being in the mode of ignorance or passion, it is very, very difficult to understand this philosophy. So hearing, constant hearing, slowly reading all these processes which is explained in Krishna consciousness, it start purifying. It starts clearing the dirt which is sitting in our mind, in our subtle senses for very very long time. We don't know how many millions of births we have been taking different bodies. So to clear that, it takes some time. Some may be very advanced that once they hear, they really enthusiastic, everything, but at the same time be careful that we have to keep praying because I'm not an independent person. I'm always dependent that on the Lord and the spiritual master, only he can guide us. So even though we know this philosophy again and again we hear, so that I should be able to stay away from these miseries. But at the end of the day, we cannot end the misery as soon as possible. But Krishna will definitely reduce the sufferings which is going to occur. We don't know how many sufferings we have been booked. Just like you book your things, no, you book your hotel, you book your tickets, you book everything when you plan for a yatra, or you plan for some trips. So we have booked so many things from the past lives. Now, uh, Krishna may reduce some of that, and because Krishna gives only how much one can handle, he doesn't give beyond that. So he may give this life, you can handle this much only. For that, this much intelligence capacity he will give. So that's how we see different capacities, different intelligences in people. So having said that, we have to always pray that to the spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, and to uh, Krishna, that you give me the strength that I can increase my bhakti. You give me the resources that I can increase my bhakti. I don't want to go away from this process. So that prayer should be there always while I'm chanting or when I look at the deities. I don't know what to pray. So that's why when we go in front of the, for example, we go in front of Nasimha. I don't know what to pray. So let's pray what the acharyas have prayed. There are prayers by acharyas. There are prayers by Prahlad Maharaj. There are prayers by Kunti Maharani. So, like in front of Narsimha Devi, chant Narsimha Kavacha. Okay, Narsimha Kavacha is nothing but prayer by Prahlad Maharaj. Or simple, you can just sing Tavakara Kamalavare. So, these prayers actually help us to advance in our spiritual life. So, this is all we have came to because our mind is so fluctuating and imbalanced that when I start praying, something will come in my mind and I'll start praying that also. It's crazy, you'll have this experience when you start on your own. So it's always better to pray the way our acharyas have told, the way to see the Lord and to pray to them. So that is very, very important. Okay, so with this, I'll end my class here. I have to head into another class. Thank you very much for your time, devotees. Dandavats Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Dhanavad
Prabhu.